Exclusively for Hampton Roads, Cox Communications presents Cox Business Television.
Hello and welcome to CB Television, presented exclusively in Hampton Roads by Cox Communications. We pledged from the beginning of this program to bring you the experts, the journalists, and the local business leaders who help us make sense of trends and issues impacting our local economy. And today's show is truly about leaders powering leaders. Today our topic is leadership itself. Leading an organization at any time can be a challenge. But when times are tough, it can test the very mettle of a leader. And how do we keep our people motivated and focused? How do we keep ourselves motivated and focused when everyone is looking to us for solutions? Recently, Cox Business, in partnership with Inside Business, assembled a panel of local leaders from Hampton Roads to discuss leadership with hundreds of business leaders from across the community. We'll hear some of the comments from the event a little later in the show. But first, one of the panelists joins me in the studio. Hamm Jr. is an entrepreneur who has advised the governor and served on more than 5 university boards. The Small Business Administration uses his company to help others across the state. Ed, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for joining me today.
Glad to be here.
One of the things that really intrigued me is that as a young man, you stated that there was a couple of key people that really influenced you. It was your parents, it was Martin Luther King, it was also J.F. Kennedy and Jackie Robinson. And you said that it was because of they pursued excellence. Can you tell me how has that translated now throughout your career, that pursuit of excellence?
Well, I noted with them that they had tremendous amount of courage. They were not afraid to take unpopular positions when it was necessary to do so. And they were wise leaders with integrity. Throughout my career, I've been in pursuit of those traits, right. Trying to assemble not only those traits in my own repertoire, but also in those that are around me, right. And putting together teams of individuals and attempting to be skillful in bringing out those traits and characteristics in individuals. And in building teams, you don't necessarily need to have every individual with all of those traits except for integrity, right. But putting together as a team to make sure that the team results are excellent.
And have you found that as you're working with different folks in different generations or in different backgrounds and experiences, is this word integrity, is that a challenge in today compared to, let's say, 10 or 15 years ago?
Not really. Each generation tends to think that they had more integrity than the ones that come after them, but that's not really true. I think we see the same kind of traits and characteristics, the bright eyes, the real interest in right. trying to do well, not only for themselves, but for others, and to be responsible for what they do. I think that's as alive in America today as it has ever been.
I've been intrigued over the years as I've been in an opportunity to create many of my teams, that I found that when I was researching some of your history, that you share a similar trait in that you try to build a well-rounded team around you, oftentimes to maybe augment either some of your weaknesses or finding that somebody else might have a tremendous strength in this one area. Can you kind of share with me what are some of those key things that you look to build around you on your team, and so that as a team, you'll be able to advance more than just an individual?
Well, a lot of it depends on the particular purpose of the team and the particular time frame that we're in. Right now is a little different. Times are tougher today right. than they might have been 3 or 5 years ago in the business setting. So the needs, the motivations may be a little bit different. So there isn't really a cookie cutter approach. Right. The key is to try to be wise in selecting characteristics and focused on the end result, and try to match those characteristics that are reasonably available to you to get to the results that you need to achieve.
We have oftentimes tried to see, is that something that it's hard to oftentimes really understand or to perceive the character of a man or a woman in an interview? Do you use any tools, or Do you have any interview ways of getting at understanding what is, am I hiring the right person? Have you found anything that's worked successfully over the years to do good hires?
Well, one of the key things, in addition to the questions you might normally ask in an interview, and the questions are different depending on the level of person you're interviewing. If you're interviewing an entry-level or intermediate-level individual, the questions may be a little bit more pointed, more centered around explaining to me why you might want to work here. If you're looking for a chief executive officer, then you don't want to approach that person in that way. It's more conversational. But typically, you're looking for, first of all, skills in the particular area that you're seeking.
Okay.
And then secondly, I like to surround myself with good human beings.
Right.
And I think that's fundamental. You know, if you have employees or friends or people on boards with you who are very decent human beings, then you can achieve an awful lot, and you can work around. All of us have particular weaknesses, and not all of us are 100% prepared for the challenges that are in front of us. But if you're a good human being and you're well motivated and you're wise, my father explained wisdom to me as knowledge, experience, patience, and intellect. And you look for people who have a reasonable combination of those things, depending on their age and experience and how much schooling they've had and their IQ and whether they're patient enough to achieve their goals. Even when we watch, you know, basketball players like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, there's periods during the game when they're not doing very much. They're patient, waiting for the best time to apply their skills. They're very wise players in addition to skillful players.
We've only got a few seconds left on this segment, but you know, as you would encapsulate, what motivates you, or what helps you keep sharp as a leader as we kind of close out this section? What would be that pearl of wisdom that maybe says, here's what drives me towards excellence where I am today?
The thing that drives me the most is doing for others. I get tremendous joy, satisfaction in doing for others, and I've always been involved in a variety of boards and commissions and other kinds of community involvement. You can never do as much as you'd like, but that gives me tremendous pleasure, and it keeps me motivated. So when I come back on issues of my employment, I'm able to devote the necessary time to accomplish that. Well,
I thank you so much. You know, you've been a tremendous influence in Virginia and really in many ways across the region, but thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your commitment, sir, and I just wish you the very best going forward. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Coming up later in the show, more perspectives on leading in tough times, including these thoughts from the Executive Discussion Series.
And so my efforts in terms of leadership are really focused on communications, making sure we're all on the same sheet of music and understand the environment, the seascape or the landscape that we're in. That does get more difficult, of course, when you're talking about a large volume, but it also gets more difficult when we're talking about figuring out how to say what the can-do attitude, how to communicate the can-do attitude when we're fiscally constrained and it's very easy to say no, where we really want to say yes.
Cox Business Television.